In this video, I want to speak about the transition from toxic masculinity to healthy masculinity, because I believe that in the world of men, there is a big crisis, a collective crisis. We have very few role models out there in the world, models of healthy men to follow. We live in a largely egocentric consumerist society, and I can speak from my experience that men are going through a crisis, or many men are going through a crisis. And in this video I want to speak about how to shift and transition from toxic masculinity to healthy, mature, grounded, healthy versions of masculinity. So I want to use a video that I found a couple of years ago online when I was exploring what it means to be a man. And in my explorations, I discovered two men. And I want to share with you a video of these two men. And when I was looking at this video, I thought that, wow, it's great. These men are sharing good ideas. But now, after years of inner work and exploration of healthy masculinity, looking back at this video, I can say that it is rather an example of toxic masculinity. So I want to bring the conversation around this topic and to bring some new perspectives. And I want to leave you in the company of two men, YouTube influencers. One of them is a porn star, Sterling Cooper, who is creating content for men, teaching men how to be good men, and he's having a lot of insights from his porn career. And another one is a successful businessman who comes with lessons from the entrepreneurial field. So I want to let you in the company of these two men and then offer you some new perspectives on what I believe is a more healthier, mature version of masculinity.
Let's talk about the 4 F's. Okay? Because this is kind of like your philosophy on like how to be a successful man in life.
Yeah, and look, I don't think it's anything new.
No, it's nothing new, but I just like the way you phrase it.
Yeah, so I say, there's a 4 F's. There's fitness, finance, fighting, and fucking. If you can get that shit down, you're gonna have a smooth ass life, bro.
Yep.
And I've pretty much lived my adult life with those things in mind. If you have all those other things in order, your game, and because when I say fucking, I mean, of course, literally, but also like, in general, just your overall experience and your interaction with women in general. I think it's very important. So if you have those other things in line, the last one, fucking, becomes substantially easier.
Okay, so now that you saw the video, I'm curious what your opinion about it is and how you see what these guys share. But I want to say that for me, these ideas are not very mature, are not healthy. And I wrote a couple of things in my agenda that I want to share with you. And first of all, I believe that toxic masculinity is an unhealthy way of being a man that is promoted by men who are embodying the shadow, immature sides of masculinity. In my work with men, I use a lot the ideas from the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, in which Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette are speaking about the 4 archetypes of mature masculinity. And the authors, they also write and explain how each archetype has a shadow, unhealthy, immature version or dimension. So if we think of the king as a mature representation of healthy masculinity, the king has also the tyrant and the weakling. So the tyrant is somehow someone who's possessed by the unhealthy archetype of the king, while the weakling is someone who's totally disconnected from the energy of the king. So this is just a brief idea, but going in depth and linking this content with what these two guys said, my personal opinion is that healthy masculinity is a representation of the four archetypes: king, warrior, magician, lover, while the toxic masculinity are the shadow effects of these archetypes. So why is this kind of masculinity toxic? Well, I believe that is in a way immature, is coming very often from an unhealthy way of relating, is often related with pain or trauma or being wounded as a boy or young man. And it is also often egocentric, very self-centered, maybe often also with elements and flavors of narcissism. And it is toxic because it's harmful for ourselves as individuals, as men. It is unhealthy and toxic to other people when we engage from this place, being children, other men, or women. But it's also toxic and unhealthy for the world, for the planet, for the earth. And now that we have an overview of what toxic masculinity is from my perspective, I want to tell you why these four F's that these two men are talking about are unhealthy. So let's take fitness. So from my point of view, fitness is very much about image, about how we look as men and appearance. So in a way, it's a shallow way of being a man. Very often is connected with being narcissist, looking super fit and jacked and six packs and big muscles. It's a shallow way of engaging with being a man. What I would say would be a healthy, mature form of masculinity is, instead of fitness, to say strength and health. Of course, being fit is very helpful, but I would say to be healthy and strong, physically strong. And this dimension, fitness and health and strength, are connected quite a lot with the warrior energy. Warrior energy. Okay. Moving on to the second part is finance. I believe finance is a way of being a toxic masculine man, because again, finance is about self. Me to have a lot of money, me to have lots of goods, possessions, big houses, expensive cars. And because it is so self-centered, I also see it as an immature way of being a man. This dimension, I would replace it with a healthier form. I would say abundance. Abundance. And it is a dimension that I see it connected with a king archetype, because the king is the one who creates fertility and abundance in the kingdom being the family, the community, the organization in which a man is part of. So a healthier, more mature form would be abundance. And in this way, there is a shift from being egocentric, me, myself, and I, to collective well-being. Because we as men need to bring abundance not only to ourselves, but also to the world and those around us. So this would be the transition, the shift into a healthier way of being a man, shifting from obsession with money and finance to abundance and well-being for everyone. Because we see what happens in the world for the sake of money, finances. We destroy the planet. We destroy ourselves. We destroy families, other people. We exploit resources. We exploit other people and harming the environment and the earth just for the sake of our own egocentric desires. Now moving to the fighting. I think it is important for a man to know how to fight. But words are so important, and using a different word can make a big difference. So fighting, it can turn into a harmful way of being, because we can say that Russia is good at fighting. Invading countries are good at fighting. Fighters in UFC cages are good at fighting. But this is again destroying the self, other people, and the well-being of the larger community. So a healthier way of engaging with the fighting dimension, which again is a dimension connected with the warrior, I would replace fighting with defending. Fighting with defending. Because this is what a true warrior is. A true warrior is not engaging others to fight, is not starting fights, but is someone defending. Defending ourselves, defending others, defending the earth. So I'm encouraging you to develop your martial arts energy, skills, and attitudes, but having in mind the purpose, the intention of that. The intention is defending, protecting. So again, we can see the earlier dimension with the finances shifting into the king, creating abundance, being the provider, and the last one shifting from fighting into defending as being the protector. So this fighting shifts into protecting, because this is what it means to be a warrior, not to start wars, not to start fights, but to defend and protect. Because immature psyches of man, if are not properly contained, they can easily engage into harmful actions and behaviors that end up in maybe ending other people's lives or our own lives. So shifting from fighting to defending and protecting. Okay, the last one, fucking. Only when I hear this word, I get somehow triggered. And it is so triggering because it's such a complicated issue. I grew up a lot as a man being influenced by porn. I started watching porn when I was only a little boy, unfortunately, and porn is so much about fucking, and it is such a harmful thing. So only thinking that how to say it, man, because it's so harmful. But maybe if I say that the shift from fucking, the toxic idea of fucking, the healthier way would be loving. Because this dimension is the dimension of the lover. And the lover is our capacity to love fully from the heart. To love fully in a sacred way. And porn indoctrinated us, enslaved us, many men, to fall into the trap and into the mindset of transforming women as objects, And it's again egocentric, self-centric idea, because we are engaging with fucking, it's so much about us and so little about the other person. And I know what I'm saying because I went through that. And these guys that we have watched in the beginning are coming directly from that industry. And a healthier way is to shift from that and leave that behind and shift into loving. And this can be a very challenging and intense process, because we need to do a lot of unconditioning, a lot of shedding, a lot of unlearning the ways we as men have experienced and being conditioned. And we need to learn how to love. And this starts again with these 3 dimensions. Love ourselves, so we are able to love the others, and then to love the earth and the more than human community. And this can be a slow process, but so important. And maybe, because these men were talking and they were saying, I would leave fucking to be the last on the list of the 4 Fs. But I would say it's so important to start with loving, to learn how to love ourselves, love the others, love the world. So this would be my perspective on how to shift from toxic, immature, unhealthy masculinity presented by egocentric, self-centric men into healthier ways of being a man, more sacred, more natural, and something that these men forgot, and it's extremely important, is the archetype of the magician. And this archetype is speaking to the spiritual dimension of life. It is about our soul. It's about God, the divine, the great spirit, that we as men, we need to be equally involved in it. We need to be providers and protectors, as well as magicians who are called, allured by the mysteries of life. Otherwise, we are incomplete. And I believe that the world is in such a dangerous situation, because we as men are so fragmented, so disconnected from the mature sacred energies of life. And we as men, unfortunately, are the big troublemakers in the world. We start wars, we start conflicts, domestic violence, gang, pornography, addictions. We are the big troublemakers in the world. It's true. And that's why it's so important to work with ourselves, to heal ourselves, so we can be also the ones solving the problems. Because there's no other way. We're gonna destroy the planet. So we as men have to step up and leave the old story of the 4 Fs behind and step into a healthy, mature, sacred way of being that is connected with having a healthy, strong body, with being providers, creating abundance in our lives and around us, with being defenders and protectors of ourselves, of our communities and of the world and the earth, and being sources of love, being sources of healthy, erotic, sensual, sexual way of loving the world and other people. But we need to shift into that, and we need to clean a lot of our toxic baggage that we have as men. And these are my perspectives. This is what I believe, what I think in this moment of my life. Let me know what are your thoughts and how you see the world and how you were affected by this idea, these ideas. And yeah, let's share, let's write, let's comment. And if you like this video, if you feel that you resonate with what I bring into the world, please consider subscribing. It will help me to have more subscribers, to reach more people. Give a like, a share, because I believe that we need a big planetary shift from toxic, immature, egocentric ways of being to healthy, mature, grounded ways of being. Thank you.